Hi, guys. My name is Paul Martin. I'm the founder and president of United Against Fentanyl. And I have a very exciting, truly exciting announcement that I'm going to make about a new program called the Fentanyl Family Network and a partnership with Hope Movement Coalition. But before I do that, I would like to introduce my friend, Stacy James. Stacy, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, Paul. Thank you. Well, my name is Stacy James, and I lost my 22-year-old son, Hagen, to fentanyl poisoning in March of 2019. And I immediately recognized that there were so few resources for families that had lost their loved one to a drug-related disease. So after a lot of prayer, was connected with two other Arkansas moms, and we formed Hope Movement Coalition. And what started with six mothers has now grown into over 500. We've become a community, and that's something that I'm so very proud of. I've been able to see families who had us to catch them at that moment of loss. We're no longer just about the grief support, although that will always be the foundation of our movement. We also support recovery efforts and training communities and workplaces about what addiction truly is, in the hopes that we will be able to eradicate stigma, because that keeps so many of us and those individuals struggling with substance use disorder in a place of isolation, and that's not good for any of us. So we've created a community here in Arkansas that is not only for affected family members, but also that are those that are in recovery have joined us, and we work together to save lives and to get the message out. It's very important whenever you're talking about grief that there's the distinction between grief and traumatic grief, because you don't have to lose someone to grieve. You can grieve the loss of a job, grieve a divorce. There's so many different seasons in life where you grieve, but losing a child suddenly is so traumatic that it is more than just grief. So at Hope Movement Coalition, we figured out we needed to address that trauma as well as the grief. And so that's what we do with our meetings, whether that be in person or on Zoom. It's just walking with folks and telling them, extending that hand that I needed so desperately, that this is going to hurt, but you will be okay. You will make it.
That's so powerful. And so the partnership came out of conversations that Stacy and I had. I knew that United Against Fentanyl's mission was to interrupt the use of fentanyl, and over the 2 years or so that we've been around, we have brought thousands of bereaved family members into our network. But we don't provide grief support, grief training. And in my background, in 30 years, I understand this space really well, and it takes a professional to understand best practices around grief support. And I started thinking, wow, we're offering some of these family members who come to us, daily with emails saying they want to volunteer. Um, we're not offering them any outlet for that grief. And so I started thinking, what if we found some way to create a program? And we've called it the Fentanyl Family Network. And it is just a big umbrella for anybody, like you said, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, um, parents who have lost loved ones, to get information on what's happening in the fentanyl crisis, because it's moving very quickly. And so by becoming a member of the Fentanyl Family Network, you will be in email, you'll get emails periodically, not too often, with what's happening in the crisis. But there's more. And that would be access to Hope Movement Coalition's weekly grieving a Zoom call, where they it's amazing. And I understand that, like Stacy said, I want to say this the right way, but there are healthy ways to lead grief support groups, and there are some ways that sometimes aren't necessarily healthy. And I want to be very gracious in saying that this is a group that operates around values of hope and positivity, and you'll say more about that, Stacy. And so the Fentanyl Family Network allows people to receive support through Hope Movement Coalition. But United Against Fentanyl is we're a coordinating organization. We coordinate through Walk for Lives, soon state chapters. our policy work. And so if you're in the network and you want to give back and you want to find something to do, we have a lot of different types of programs which would allow you, if you're ready and if that's what you want to do, to plug into our network of educating, advocacy, policy work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Stacy, tell us about just the weekly meeting and what does this look like?
Our Zoom meetings are held every Monday night, and they are facilitated by Logan's dad, Doug Ballinger. And he's got this amazing, beautiful way of just sitting with us in our sorrow and our joy, and the two can exist at the same time. The most important thing that I want to say about the work we do is that we are all trauma certified. We're here to focus on you. We're here to walk with you. And so many times after child loss, so much of the attention is to your angel, to my angel, to the cause of death, that we don't spend time just sitting together and saying, today, is today a good day or a bad day? And it can be both, it can be neither. We're always very careful. We want folks, and we recognize you get on a grief support Zoom call, and you're going to be heavy and sorrowful, but we want folks to be able to leave that support meeting feeling better than they felt when they joined. We've been doing this for over a year now, and we've got, I want to say, 18 different states that have joined us on Monday nights, and we do it weekly. And we're just seeing so many, mostly moms, but we're waiting for those dads. So many moms, because they are speaking on a regular basis about what they're feeling about their angel. This week was an angel versary, and it's been really hard, to watch the mothers support one another. Doug's job and my job as his assistant sometimes is quite easy because you hear these participants encouraging one another, sharing with one another what helped that particular person. So it's really laid back. Our motto is it's not about perfection, it's about connection. And we just simply want to be a light in the middle of a week where someone who may live in a rural area, or maybe even maybe in a family that doesn't want to talk about that cause of death, they can come and they're in a safe space. They're in a gentle space. Tears are absolutely welcome, but so is laughter. We
Mm,
walk through so much together.
mm. I just think about the numbers, and sometimes there's number overload because really this crisis is about the stories, the heartbreak, the peril of the pain of the greatest psychological loss a human being could experience, which is the loss of a child. There are a million parents that have lost a child just to fentanyl alone, and it's obviously much more than that. There's such need for the work that you do. Uh, I mean, it's a mountain that isn't even hasn't even really been scratched that much yet in terms of the grief side. What we do with United Against Fentanyl is more on the activist side. And so, who is this for? I jotted some things down. So, the Fentanyl Family Network is for parents and family members who have lost a loved one to fentanyl poisoning, like straight out. That's what the Fentanyl Family Network is for. And also, secondly, for friends, coworkers, and others affected by the fentanyl crisis. Their estimates, there was an article in the North American Medical Association. There are over 50 million people today in the United States, 50 million who know somebody directly. We're talking about friend, coworker, family member. So it's also for friends and family, that more extended family. They're just looking for help and connection. Um, the networks for families who fear for the safety of their children and want to take action. So these people obviously would not be coming to the grief support group, but I say this a lot. We've got to, in the fentanyl awareness work, extend and get people who haven't lost children into this fight. Because as you know too well, Stacy, and I've spoken to hundreds of moms like you, after the obvious, which is the grief of their child, the second thing that they find most that angers them the most, frustrates them the most, is most of these people's friends don't think it could happen to their kids. And we've got to find a way to say in an appropriate way, you should be concerned about fentanyl because your child could die from it. And so this is a network for people who care about the crisis, who want to make their cities and towns safer. And finally, it's for any community leaders who stand with families who want to bring change. So the Fentanyl Family Network is a very large tent, but within it, we felt as an organization that we have to provide support, and that's why I'm just so grateful that you and I met, because I know who you are and I know that the kind of work that you do. So it's to stay informed by joining the network. It's to find community through Hope Movement Coalition and meet other parents or connect with other people like you. It's to, if you want, get involved. We have a lot of very bold initiatives around the country. Walk for Lives is the one that you can start right in your own community, and we train you on that. And also, we do a lot of increasing policy work where we mobilize bereaved family members and others to get letters sent to their elected officials to pass common sense bipartisan legislation that absolutely needs to pass. And so this is a big tent where you could be passive and just receive some emails, a couple times a month, get support through grief, or get involved. I've learned, Stacy, that there is no right or wrong way to grieve, but I could name a dozen moms who led a Walk for Lives last year. And they say, I mean, a couple of them said, I think it might have saved me, because
Mhm.
they were wallowing in, I'm sure you've heard this before, but they were wallowing. I want to be so careful here. They just weren't able to see beyond the pain.
Right.
And Walk for Lives allowed them to go out into the community and invite first responders, medical health professionals, schools, um, faith communities. And suddenly these are leaders now, and their narrative is no longer I'm a victim, but I'm a survivor bringing change
That's
in my
right.
community. And that's the kind of work that we do on the UAF side.
That's turning pain into purpose, and that's how a family member is going to survive such a devastating loss. We have an active love for our angel, whoever that person may be. There's this active love, and when they're no longer here to embrace, to talk to, phone call, buy gifts for, that love doesn't go away. And finding a purpose and finding something to do to honor our angels is one of those things that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt will help family members grieve in a healthy way.
Right. Well, I'm thrilled. I'm blessed to have met you, Stacy. Uh, partnerships are, they could be beautiful things because they lift up both sides. And
Right.
this is something where we have services or an organization that provides one thing, you have one that provides something else. Both are equally important, and I'm just really thrilled to see where this goes. I know there are going to be a lot of parents that want to be part of this, and it's a blessing to know you and to be dreaming with you and to be taking a bold step at launching a new initiative.
This is going to be good. It's going to be good for everyone. And ultimately, I've been told since day one, the most powerful voice in this epidemic is that of a parent. And what you're doing with UAF is you're empowering those family members. You're informing those family members. There may be some that can't do a walk. There may be some that thinks, grief support's just not, I'm not ready for that. But they'll send a letter. And so, in what UAF is doing is it's empowering families to do more. And I think that is remarkable. And that's how we're going to heal the nation. Is
Yeah,
just
I
when you
agree.
bring all those families together
Yeah.
and we are moving forward in sync, then that's when I think we will really, really start to see the trajectory change on this.
And I think the word in sync is important. I've said this many times, and I've said this. If it wasn't for the work of individual, mostly moms, who have started organizations, not even started organizations necessarily, talked in high schools, posted on Instagram, all the things, right? And the organizations, there'd be twice as many people that would have died from fentanyl, or three
A
times as
hundred
many.
percent. I agree.
100%.
100%.
I
Yeah.
mean, without those voices, even to this day, um, it's you can't measure the work that the sacrifice that these bold, gritty moms mostly uh, uh, have contributed to a reduction in deaths, and yet in the reduction that we're seeing, I am horrified with some of what I'm hearing here in Washington D.C., which is, oh, I hear it's better now. I hear this. People, they hear the highlight of deaths have gone down, and they just jump to the conclusion that, oh, fentanyl's better now. And the window, I call it the window of urgency, is closing on this issue. Fentanyl is now starting to become a little bit of a, yeah, homelessness and sex trafficking and fentanyl and poverty. It's starting to become that, despite the fact that it's still the number one cause of death for 18 to 45 year
Right.
olds. And so, what United Against Fentanyl, our charter and our mission and our first name is United. That was very deliberate. Despite all those efforts, it's time we unite. It's time that we bring all of our work uh, together, um, because that's how battles are fought. Whether it's a war, whether it's
Right.
a war on poverty, a war on cancer, a war in World War II. And for me, what that means is the greatest joy I have in doing this work and being able to represent so many amazing moms and dads is coordinating, helping them coordinate efforts in their communities. That's our role. We're a coordinator. We're an organizing group. Even in this partnership, we're just coordinating, a partnership with you. And so I'm really thrilled, just just with this beautiful kind of two sides of the coin, hope movement handling the remarkable need for connection, for healing, for hope, and for moving forward, and UAF on the other side saying to those very few people, we have programs for you to engage if that's what you would like to do. So
Right.
I'm giddy about this. It's going to be amazing.
Well, we're excited too. We're ready, looking forward to it. And when I started 7 years ago, I just wanted to love on every mother that had ever felt the way that I felt.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And through the years, that's expanded. That love has grown, and now it just goes beyond anything that I ever imagined. To me, it's simple. You love someone that's hurting. You don't judge them. You don't chastise them. You don't
Yeah,
put them in a position to have to defend their angel. So it's a beautiful way for me to honor my son's legacy, but also it helps me grieve well. So I'm looking forward to embracing
yeah,
more family members. I'm looking forward to them getting to know me and getting to know Doug and our team. It's gonna be exciting to see where
yeah.
it all goes.
Yeah. Well, in conclusion, I'm a guy that really loves words, but your your name of your organization, Hope. When I
Mhm.
was on that lawn that day, I didn't see hope. I saw the pain of loss and the hopelessness of a lot of reasons why if I had lost a kid, I would feel hopeless. But I love that you said hope. I love the word movement because it's saying we're going in a direction and we're going in the right direction. I love coalition because it means together, and united means kind of the same thing. We're a coalition, we're united. In our case, against fentanyl, we need to be, because it's a poison masquerading as medicine. And so, concluding, the last thing I'll say is you and I think a lot alike in that we want to think we want to be positive. We want to be forward looking. We want to be optimists. We want to believe that there could be healing. We want to believe that there could be unity. We want to believe that we collectively could bring together people based on those values of hope, of positivity, of optimism in the midst of crisis. So we're not in denial, but
Yeah.
we're doing it from a framework of of looking forward with optimism and grounding everything in literally your first word is hope,
Yeah,
ours is united. It's a beautiful thing.
it is. We're so thankful to be a part of it.
Well, you can see the website is fentanylfamilynetwork.org or hopemovementcoalition.com or unitedagainstfentanyl.org. There are a lot of URLs you can go to, and we're thrilled for this time. So thank you, Stacy, and I look forward to doing this with you.
Same here. See you on Monday nights.
Bye bye.